So this is just a tutorial for the second encounter, guys. So, yeah, so I'll explain it to you, and hopefully you'll understand by using paper. So, right at the beginning, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. By the way, number 1 is where the banner starts. Number 2 is off to the right. Number 3 is up to the top. And number 4 is on the left of 1. Alright? So what's going to happen here is you're going to have all 6 players here to start with. When you put your banner down, and that. Then, this is the start of the whole encounter. So, you'll kill the Vex in front of number 1. And what will happen then is 2 players will stay back at number 1 and kill Adzenat. As 4 players go to number 2. Alright? So, I'm going to add an X here. And I'm going to add an X on just here. But that should be on number 1, but I don't want to cross out number 1. And what this is going to be is this is going to be where these are the dots. One person stands there and one person stands roughly there. A beam is going to go down into you guys and then hit this. This will then give you a buff called Enlightenment. Alright. Next, you will have, so after this, 4 players will go over here, and which the 4 players are going to have to go against is 2 barrier, so 2 barrier hobgoblins. Once you kill those 2 hobgoblins, you have to kill then a Hydra, and once the Hydra is dead, you can do the same exact thing, but with 4 of you. So you have 1, so that's the cross, and that's the cross, and you have just 1, 2, 3, and then maybe 1 off to the 4 right there. Then what's going to happen here is 1 player is going to stay behind this time, while 3 players start going to number 3. Alright, number 3's boxes is going to be here and that. So let me just explain number 2 and number 1. So number 1, so there's going to be a player on number 1 and there's going to be a player on number 2. The player which was on number 2 is going to just be helping out rotationally. But what's going to happen here is instead of the player going to 2, giving them a buff, and then going to 1, giving them a buff, and going in, out, shake it all about, what's going to happen is 1 is going to go over to 2, the switch person is going to go over to 2, and you're going to do the buff exactly here. So you'll have 3 dots there, that's you 3, and you'll do the buff, and then what will happen is number 1 will go back to their side, number 2 will stay on their side, and the switch player will be staying on number 2 and waiting until the next call out. So the next call out, and I'm going to try and do it right here because I don't want to use up too much space. So we've got the encounter again. It's going to be a little bit smaller, and that. So you got 2, you got 1, you got 3, and you got 4. All right. So 1 player on this, 1 player on 2. The portal here, I'm going to put these circles now in here, and I'm going to put like a line for them when they're activated. Alright, so this one's going to be activated already, this one's going to be activated already. Once 3, so going back to here, once 3 players kill the 2 hobgoblins and a Hydra here, then what's going to happen is they'll do the switch, so there'll be 1, 2, 3, and what will happen here is all 3 of them will go to number 4. Alright, so here 3 will go to 4. So you might be confused, why isn't there 1 person staying back there? That's why, because the 2 people on number 2, the player who's doing the switcheroo will be going through this portal and will be ended up on number 3. So you have 1 person here, 1 person here, and 1 person here. Alright, well 3 people go to number 4. Now, let me explain how you're going to do the enlightenment with 1, 2, and 3. So what's going to happen is, when number 2, number 1, and 3 needs enlightenment, and that, so basically, I think once 3 gets to their side and kills the enemies, at least, kill like a bunch of enemies, 3 is going to go back to 2, so 3 will go back to 2, and then 1 will go to 2. This will then let all 3 of you switch here, do the blessing, and what will happen then here is 3 will go back to number 3, 1 will go back to number 1, 2 will stay where he is, or she is. The 3 people who's going to 4 will kill the 2 hobgoblins, will kill the Hydra, and then those 3 will do the buff. And that. So those 3 will do the thing. Once this is done, what's going to happen then is 3 and 1 is going to keep on doing the same thing with 2. So 3 keeps going over to 2, 1 keeps going over to 2, and keep on doing this thing. 4 will just have 2 people, will have just 3 people on it. And what will happen next is, if I draw it out here, I'm going to represent P as, I'm going to A as angelics, which is going to be hydras, important hydras. So we've got number 3, number 1, number 2, and number 4. Alright, I'm just putting these out so I can have more room. And that. The barriers are still going to be up, so there's no way of getting inside the middle yet. So what's going to happen here is you got 1 person on that, 1 person on that, 1 person on that, and 3 people on that. Sorry, that's 4, that's 3, that's 2, that's 1. Alright? So what's going to happen here is there's going to be hydras swarming. So the hydras can swarm wherever they want. So for example, if the hydras swarm on number 3, for example, so 1 hydra, 2 hydra, 3 hydra, so angelics, 3 is good, they're going to just kill all the hydras, while 3, 2, and 1 is switching on number 2. Alright? But then, after this has happened, the angelics is going to appear on another side. This next side is going to be number 2. So we've got 1, 2, 3. So now, number 2's only got 1 player on it, and they have to take out 3 hydras, and that's not fair. So what's going to happen is, the 3 people on number 4 is going to split into 1 will stay on 4, and then 2 will go all the way around through the portals to number 2. Either way, you can go either way you like, but go around the portals and get to number 2, helping with the hydras. Once that is done, then so once that is done, guys, then angelics will swarm on another side. But while this is happening, 3 and 1 is going to need a switch, and so is 4. So what's going to happen here is 1 will go over to 4, and 3 will go over to 4, and they will then do the switch. Then they'll go back to their sides, while number 2 is getting their thing. Also, after each angelic round on the side, make sure the 3 people who's on that side do the buff real quick. So that means that person on that side will be cleansed and will be able to kill ads, white enemies, and so will the people who's going around. Next, so after 2 angelic rounds, 3's going to get 3 angelics. Right? So what's going to happen here is the 2 people who went from 4 to 2 is now going to go to 3. And what's going to happen here is 2 and 4 is going to go to 1 when they need a buff. And that the 3 people on 3 are just going to kill the hydras, the angelics. Then after this, do the switch, do the blessing. Once this is done, then what will happen then is lastly 1 will get angelics, and once they get angelics and that, then the 2 people here who's switching all the time, who went from 4 to 2, 2 to 3, now they'll go from 3 to 1, they'll help 1 kill the ads, while number 2 and number 4 go to 3 to do the blessing. Alright, and then now just kill the hydras, and once this is done, the middle will open. Now, the middle. The encounter isn't over. So, let me explain. So, now you have got the circle in the middle. This is the middle. Then you got 1, 2, 3, 4. So, you're going to run through this. And in this one, there's going to be a box. A closed box. Then there's going to be angelic. So what's going to happen here is you guys are going to have to kill the angelic. Once the angelic is dead, the box will open. Then all 6 people has to get in a line, beam the X to the middle X in a line, so everyone gets the blessing or whatever it's called. And what happens here is there's going to be a lot of white ads. Then another angelic is going to swarm in the same exact spot. You're going to have to kill it again, do the box thing again as a 6. Once this is done, then you just keep killing white ads. And then, just a warning, there's going to be angelic swarming. So, I'm not saying there's going to be all 3 of these swarming on each side, but 1 angelic will swarm on either this side, here. These parts will be open as well. So there will be like tunnels open, like in these parts, and that which you can go through. And that there's going to be like, yeah, every corner. It's like the Union Jack for the United Kingdom, and that where it has like all the sides open. And there's going to be hydras. If there's hydras, run over to them, kill them, run back to middle in time to get the buff. Once you have killed 4 angelics in this middle part, either outside or to get the thing, encounter is complete. And that's it. That's basically it. So I'm going to run through it right now really quick. So, for refresh memory. So, we're going to have all the sides here. We're going to have 2 players here, 4 players here. Kill the enemies. 4 players will kill the enemies. What happened here is you'll get the buff. And that. Then 1 person will stay there. 1 person will stay there. 3 people will go off to number 3. And then, when you need a buff, 1 and a player on here will go over to 2. Then do the buff there. And then 3 will then kill the Hydra in that. And then after this, the person who doesn't have a side will go over to 3. And then here, 3 people will go to 4. Number 1 and number 3 will go to 2 for the blessings. And then once number 4 is done, then you're going to have 3 there. 1, 1, 1. 1 and 3 is still going to be switching with 2. 3 is just going to be staying on 4. The 3 will stay on 4. Alright? Then, if it swarms here first, angelic swarm on number 4 first. 3 people will kill the angelics with number 3, and 1 is still with number 2 doing the switcheroo. And then, number 2 might get the angelic snakes, so that means 2 people here have to go all the way to 2, help number 2 kill the angelics, while number 3, number 1 is helping number 4 get the buff. Alright? Then, what's going to happen here is number 3 is now going to get the angelics. So what's going to happen here is the 2 people are going to go over to number 3. 4 and 1, no, 4 and 2 is going to go over to 1 for the buff. Number 3 players will be killing number 3 Angelicas. Once these Angelicas are dead, number 1 will become available for Angelicas. So the 2 people will go round here to number 1. They'll kill the Angelicas here. Once they've killed the Angelicas here, and number 4 and number 2 are going to 3, the gate will open. The barriers will open. you'll all go to middle, and what will happen here is there'll be Angelica which swarms here, a box here. You can't shoot the box until you kill that Angelica. Once the Angelica is dead, line up in a 6 line, get the buff, kill all white shield enemies and everything. If you see Angelics on the outer layer, go and kill them and get back for a new buff. And then just do this and kill 4 Angelicas, do the switcheroo and that until you killed 4 Angelicas, and then encounter completed. That is my guide for this raid. And for encounter 2, this is just on paper, and that I will be trying this out in a bit here. But if this has helped you, then please leave a like and also subscribe to my channel. Thank you and cheers.